This is the voice in the wilderness of the people coming to you in the great wind. This is another day that EZER has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I pray that EZER have kept you in good health, in great strength, and has continued to pour his mercies upon you, and to provide a table before you in the presence of your enemies. My dear brothers and sisters, today I will read from one of the prophets that EZER have sent unto us. A prophet whom he sent with his name unto us, to bring his word unto us. The name of this prophet is Zechariah, and his name means EZER has remembered. The name of this prophet Zechariah means EZER has remembered. First, I must let you know something about this prophet. The first part of Zechariah's prophecy, from chapter 1 to chapter 8, was speaking about the restoration of the temple of EZER in Jerusalem. The second part, which is from chapter 9 to 14, is referring to EZER's new kingdom that will come. The time when EZER will set up his rule upon the earth. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a lot of misinterpretation of these words. And today I will try, by the grace of EZER, our Redeemer, to remove the misconceptions and the lies that they have set forth in this work. Remember, our enemies have taken our book from us and has put many discrepancies in the works of our prophets as to mislead us. But by the grace of EZER, our Redeemer, as he promised, he will restore his work unto us. He will make it known unto us, and we will comprehend it, and then we will do what he tells us we must do. So today, I will begin with you in chapter 9 of the book of Zechariah, and I will go right through to 14. I will not take too much time. I know it would be a little bit lengthy, but I want to explain this to you as we go along. I will point out the lies that they have taken from this book and create. I will show you. So without further ado, let us begin. And it reads, "The burden of the word of EZER in the land of Hadrach and Damascus shall be the rest thereof, when the eyes of man as of the tribe of Israel shall be towards EZER." Here EZER is telling us his word will be a burden unto those two lands, Damascus. And where is Damascus? That's what we call Syria today. the capital of Syria, that's Damascus, and the rest thereof, when the eyes of man, as of all the tribe of EZER-IAH, shall be towards Ai. So Ai is saying to us, what he is giving Zechariah to explain to us will be for a time when our eyes will be turned towards Ai, when we will start looking towards Ai, when we will start seeking him, his laws, his commandments. We will start calling on his name, and we will seek to know him. Verse 2, and Hamath also shall border thereby, Tyrus and Zidon, though it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heap up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the street. He is telling us here of the nations and what they will do. They will heap up gold like the mire on the street. In those days, there was animals on the street. In Jerusalem, our ancestors was using donkeys, jackass, and colts, the baby of the donkeys, and they will feces on the streets. And here he is saying that our enemies, Syria and the other countries around, was gathering up gold like dust, fine gold as the mire of the street. So as the people was picking up the mire of the street, so these nations was gathering gold. Behold, Ai will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire. Ai is saying, these nations shall be destroyed. Ai will break them down, and he will devour them, their ships and their riches, and he will devour them with fire. As if you watch my previous video, I tell you, Ai is preparing fire for the nations. These nations will no longer be destroyed with water, but they shall be destroyed by fire. As we see Syria, as it is happening to it today, it is fire, missiles. Then it will come a time when it's nuclear weapon. But let us continue. Ashkelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. These are the Palestinians, Gaza, they're over there. He's talking about the neighboring nations that was around us. And Ekron, for her expectation, shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. There is a time coming when these places will not be inhabited. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and will cut off the pride of the Philistines. A bastard shall dwell in these areas. Who is the bastard that's dwelling in these areas today? My dear brothers and sisters, by now you should know this. A bastard, which means a people that does not belong there, will go there, and they are the ones who will cause these countries all the pains and the suffering, as we see it happening this very day. And Ai will take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abomination from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our Redeemer. And he shall be as a governor in Judea, and Ekron as a Jebusite. Here he's telling us he's going to take the blood out of their mouth. All those over there who drinking blood and they're eating unclean stuff. He's saying that he will remove it from their mouth. They will die. And those that remain from among them, are those who will serve EZER. As we are supposed to serve EZER, those who remain will have to serve EZER. EZER will encamp about his house because of the army, because of him that passed by, and because of him that returneth, and no oppressor shall pass through them any more, for none I have seen with his eyes. For now I have seen with his eyes. He have seen what is being done. And I am saying, when he destroy them, no more will oppressors pass through that area. No oppressors will pass through that area. But why is EZER saying this? Because EZER is, let us continue. We will see why EZER is saying this. He says, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king cometh unto you. He is just. He said, rejoice, O daughters of Zion. O daughters of Jerusalem, behold, your king cometh unto you. He is a just king, and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. So here the Most High is saying, our king is coming. We should rejoice at that time, because our king is coming. He is riding on an ass. And then he explained to us the ass he is riding upon a colt, the foal of an ass. So here he is telling us, when our king is coming, he will be riding on the colt, which is a young ass, the baby of an ass. The baby of a donkey is a colt, and that's what he will be riding on. Now, they give you a reference here to Acts 22:14, and they're referring this to be JC. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not referring to JC. This is referring to David. Let me show you who own a colt. Let me show you who was the owner of a colt. And the owner of that colt was a king, and his name was David. So when he says here, rejoice, O daughter of Zion, shout, O Jerusalem, behold, your king comes unto you. He is just, and he is having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass. This is referring to King David. Let me now take you to 1 Kings. And I will read to you from 1 Kings, from chapter 1 Kings. That will be chapter 1 in 1 Kings. And I will read to you from verse 32. And King David said, call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. And the king also said unto them, take with you the servants of your master, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gishon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel. Here, my brothers and sisters, in 1 Kings, we are seeing that David had the child of a donkey, the colt. It was a mule. It was a mixture of a horse and a donkey. The horse went with the donkey, and it makes mule up until this day. It's not the other way around. It is the donkey's child that is the colt. And David owned a donkey, a colt. That was David's own transport that he now told Zechar to put Solomon on and to go and get him anointed king of EZER-IAH. I must tell you, all the kings of EZER-IAH rode on donkeys. Our kings never rode on horses. All the kings of EZER-IAH rode on donkeys. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, I must repeat this to you. All the kings of EZER-IAH also was anointed with oil, olive oil. All the priests was anointed with oil. There is nowhere in this book or in the book that the Romans wrote where Jesse was anointed. Nowhere in this book we saw where Solomon was anointed, David was anointed, Saul was anointed. Nowhere in this book you will see where Jesse or Yeshua was anointed. David was the king that was anointed. David is the king I promised he gonna put his hand in the river and one in the sea. David is the king who I promised will call out to him, and whatever he asks, he will do it for him. He will give him the heathen for a possession. He will dash them as a potter's clay. He will rule them with a rod of iron, and the earth will be his possession. Only David these promises was made to. Only David he made this covenant with. It's only David he promised he going to raise up and bring unto us as our shepherd. It's only David he said he will cause to feed us. Only David. My dear brothers and sisters, the word Messiah means anointed. Look at the word Messiah. It means anointed. But read it as our ancestors read. They read from right to left. Look at the word Messiah and read it and tell me what you see. What you're seeing there is IAH anointed. IAH anointed. Messiah means IAH anointed. And there is nowhere in this book where we see one by the name Yeshua or one by the name Jesse was anointed by IAH. There is nowhere you will see this in this book. As I pointed out, those that you will see, all the kings, Zedekiah, the chief priest, they was anointed. You will not see Jesse was anointed anywhere in this book. So let us continue. So I hope this is made clear to you who was riding as a king on an ass, on a colt. It was David. David rode on a colt. It was the baby of an ass. And I will cut off the chariots from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off. Here I is telling you he will cut off the chariots from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends of the earth. This was the promise I made unto David. He's telling you here that David would cut off the horses. Who was the horses from? The horse came from the Greeks. That's where the horses came from, and the Turks. That's where it came from, and it was in our land. And our Messiah, who was anointed by Aya, will have to get them out of the land. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, have I sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn you to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today I do declare that I will render double unto thee. When I have bent Judea for me, fill the bow with Ephraim, and raise up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. Here Aya is telling us he has a covenant with us. A covenant that is set by blood. And he's going to raise us up. He is going to raise us up with strength. He's going to make us strong. We are the prisoners of hope. We have to hope in Aya's promises. Now we are prisoners. We are captives. We are being controlled. And Aya is saying here, he will declare and declare and will render double unto them. When he will render double unto the heathens? When he bent us, when he bring us back to him. He said in 13, when I have bent Judea for me, then he will fill the bow with Ephraim. He will give them strength and raise up the sons of Zion against the sons of Greece, and make thee as the sword of a mighty man. He will make us strong again to defeat the heathens. And Aya shall be seen over them. Over who's them? Aya will be with us. And his arrows shall go forth as lightning. And Aya, our Redeemer, shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwind of the south. Aya is the one who will be fighting for us. Aya of hosts shall defend us, and they shall devour. We shall win, we shall conquer them, and subdue with slinging stones. And they shall drink, and we will drink, and we will make noise as though we had drunk wine. And we shall be filled with bowls as the corner of the altar. And Aya, our Redeemer, shall save us in that day as the flock of his people. For we shall be as the stones of a crown, We are the children of David. We are the lawmakers, the lawgivers. Lift up as an ensign unto his land. EZER will lift us up as an ensign. What's an ensign? A mark. What is the mark of victory? When you claim a land, when you win a war and you're marking the land, what you put up? You put up your flag. So EZER is going to put us up as his flag in his land. For how great is EZER goodness? How great is his beauty? Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine their maidens. EZER will give us wine and corn. Ask you of EZER, verse chapter 10. Ask you of EZER, rain in the time of the latter rain. Now he's saying, just like he promised David, whatever he asks of him, he will do it. He's saying, ask for rain. So EZER shall make bright clouds and give them showers of rain. Every one grass in the field. Who is every one grass in the field? He's talking about every one of us and the land. And he's going to replenish the land for us. For the idols have spoken vanity. JC have lied. They have lied to you with JC. They have lied to you with Yeshua that they could save you. They have lied to you. He says here, verse 2, for the idols have spoken vanity, and the diviners have seen a lie. They are lying to you, my brothers and sisters. Turn to EZER, your Redeemer, and have told false dreams. They lied to us, telling us that it is JC is our king riding on an ass, when it was David. They lied to us, tell us that JC he is Messiah, when he was never anointed. They lied to us, telling us that he died for us, when EZER tell us no man could die for us. They lied to us and continue to lie. My dear brothers and sisters, read your book and get out from those lies. Here he's saying to us, all those who are preaching that JC are liars. Those who are preaching that somebody died for you are liars. The evil spirits in their idols have spoken lies to them, and they are speaking it to you. And have told false dreams. Every day they have a new dream that the Most High tell them something. Oh, he spoke to them. He spoke to them. He told them this. He told them that. They can't even see it for themselves. Why was none of them seeing the coronavirus? Why are not all of them are in quarantine? Why are we not hearing their voices out in the street? Why are they not healing the people? Where is JC? Is he hiding? Where is his representative, the Pope? He says he's no longer that JC's vicar. So he's no longer Christ no more. Are they scared? They know what's coming, my brothers and sisters. They know what's coming. Let us read what EZER said to Zechariah. Let us read. I'm going to show you. They're talking about the coronavirus. This is mild to what's coming to them. This is mild to what is coming. Let us read what EZER said unto him. He says, they have lied and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain. They comfort you in vain. They cannot comfort you in truth and meaningfully. Their comfort is vain. They're lying to you. They're telling you you're going to be safe. You're going to be blessed. They're telling you you're going to have peace. They're telling you you wouldn't be sick. They're lying to you. My brothers and sisters, they're lying to you. They tell you when you accept JC as your personal savior that you are saved. Are you saved from the coronavirus? Is JC protecting you from the coronavirus? My dear brothers and sisters, listen to what EZER is saying to the prophet to bring to us. He says here, therefore they went their way as flock. They were troubled because there was no shepherd. There is no shepherd in them, and they cannot shepherd you. JC can shepherd you. They are not the one EZER gave you. EZER gave you David as your shepherd. Listen to all my videos. I went into that in details, showing you the scriptures that you should read. And I'm reading this one here with you today, and I'm going to show you their lies to you. He says, verse 3, EZER anger will kindle against the shepherds and punish the goats. He called them goats because they all worship Lucifer. The 5-point symbol, what they call the 5-point star, that's their symbol. Look all on the churches. Look every picture they take. You will see that 5-point symbols there. That's the goat of Memphis. That's what they represent. And that's what EZER is saying here to Zephaniah. That's the star of the mighty one. That's not your mighty one. Your mighty one does not have no star. Your mighty one has a name. Your mighty one does not have no symbol for him. He says he did not give us no image. He haven't shown us no image. He haven't write down anything for us. He spoke his word to us. The only thing he wrote down to us was his 10 commandments. But he did not draw no image for us, no similitude. No image of anything on the earth or in the heavens. No image of anything. Read your words that I speak to you, my brothers and sisters. Read your words. He says, his anger was kindled against the shepherds and punished the goats. For EZER of hosts has visited his flock, the house of Judah, and has made them as high as his righteous horses in the battle. EZER is saying here, he does not need the shepherds for you. They lied to you. He just told you how they lied to you. He just told you they speak vanity. He told you they give you false dreams. He told you they comfort you in vain. And now he's telling you that he is going to seek his flock for himself. And he is going to make us warriors. We are the warriors, not a fight with no ammunition. The ammunition is our mouth. The words that EZER speak to his prophets, we will speak it again. We will use his name. That is how he is making us warriors. Verse 4, out of him came forth the corner, out of him the nail, out of him the battle bow, out of him every oppressor together. We have to remove, EZER is going to remove from us all the obstacles that are among us. EZER is going to remove all the oppressors from among us. And that's what he is doing today. EZER is removing the wicked ones. And I will show you what EZER is saying, because what they are afraid of now is the tip of the iceberg. Let us read. And they shall be as mighty men that tread down their enemies in the mire of the streets in the battle. And they shall fight, because EZER is with us. And the riders on horses shall be confounded. You see, those that riding on horses will be confounded. Our nations never ride horses. We ride asses. So the nations that's coming with their horses, EZER will confound them. And EZER will strengthen the house of Judah, and EZER will save the house of Joseph. And EZER will bring them again to place them, for EZER have mercy upon them. Where is EZER bringing us to place us again? Aya will bring us back into the land that he gave unto Adam, that he gave unto Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob, and Israel, Aya and Judea. He will bring us back and place us again in the land. For Aya have mercy upon us, and we shall be as though Aya had not cast us off. We have to start to behave like Aya did not cast us off. We have to turn back to him. We can't hate him. We can't say, well, he threw us off, we need to stay off. No, we have to turn back to Aya. We have to go back to his commandments. Remember, Aya made us a nation. Aya gave us a land and made us a nation. Aya gave us laws to run his nation that he gave us, so that we will prosper on the earth. Aya gave us his laws that he wanted us to rule over the nation he gave us. Our ancestors refused his laws. They broke them. They did not follow his laws. So we lost the nation. We are now scattered. Aya nourished us in the womb. Aya brought us out of our mother's bowel. Aya washed us and hear our voice and record it. Aya did the same thing to us when he took us out of the land of Egypt. He made us a new nation. He cleansed us up. He brought us, he fed us with angels' food. He gave us water from the rock, just like a baby, just like he says he did with us. That's why he called us his children, and he brought us into his land. He gave us the laws that we must live by, the laws that must govern the land. He also told us if we did not use the laws to govern the land, that the land will kick us out. We are out of the land today. The land is desolate. We are in captivity. My dear brothers and sisters, we need to get back to Aya, our Redeemer. We need to study his word that he sent unto us. We need to know he is one. We need to know he has one name. He gave us his name in Exodus chapter 3, the name Aya. He gave us his name. He told us it will be a memorial unto all generation. He gave us his name even in the word Messiah, telling us that he is the one who anoints, the one that he will send to be our shepherd. He gave us his name in the prophets. In this, even this one that I'm reading here, Zechariah, let us listen to the prophets. Our ancestors did not listen to them. And see what happened to them? Now, my dear brothers and sisters, let us listen to the prophets. They are still speaking to us. When you are reading their words, you are listening to them. Listen to the prophets. He says, and Aya will strengthen the house of Judea, and will save the house of Joseph, and Aya will bring them again to place them, for Aya have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though Aya has not cast them off. For Aya, your Redeemer, and will hear them. Aya, your Redeemer, will hear you when you call on him. Hear what he's telling you. He will hear you when you call on him. And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as though they had wine. Yea, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in Aya, and Aya will hiss for them. Aya will call us as he is doing today. Aya is calling us to gather us. He says, I will hiss for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. Aya is telling you here, he has already redeemed you. You don't need nobody to die for your redemption. I am saying to you, he has redeemed you. He's saying to you, he's going to call you. He is calling us now. Answer his call. Answer him and let him increase us and let him bring us back into the land that he promised our ancestors, where we will experience justice and peace, where we will have the time to rest. For EZER will set us in his sanctuary, in his safe place. And no one will make us afraid. No one will trouble us now, oppress us anymore. Verse 9, and EZER will sow them among the people, and they shall remember EZER in far countries. Here he's telling us, we in the far countries where we are, we will remember him. Why? He will call us. He remember, verse 8, he says he will hiss for them, which means he will call us. He is calling us, my brothers and sisters, listen. He is calling us. And they shall live with their children and turn again. And they shall live with their children. Aren't we living with our children? But we have to turn. We have to give up these worldly pleasures. We have to give up the ways of the heathen. We have to turn back to EZER, our Redeemer, and his commandments. The very laws he told us we have to rule his land with. We have to use those laws in his land so that we could live there. We need to learn those laws so when we go back there, we could live there in peace and in justice and in righteousness. He's telling you he will call you from in the countries far away, far countries, among the heathen, among the people. We are among them. And he's telling us he's going to call us. Listen to his voice. He's calling us, my brothers and sisters. Verse 10, and I will bring them again out of the land of Egypt. We are in the land of Egypt again. Judea is in the land of Egypt again. This is us who was taken by ships into Egypt again. And gather them out of Assyria, see, out of Damascus. So he's going to gather us from the west, and he's going to gather our brothers and sisters in the east, those that are scattered in the countries round about where we were, in the land of EZER-IAH, in EZER land Moriah, under his mountain, Mount Moriah. In that land, they are scattered around in the neighboring nations. But we, Judea, we are the tribe that was scattered to the four corners of the earth. So EZER is saying here he is going to call us. We're going to hear him, and we will turn unto him, and he will bring us out of the land of Egypt and gather us out of Assyria. And EZER will bring us into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall be found for them. EZER is going to extend our boundaries. When EZER brings us back, he's going to extend our boundaries. We're not just going in the little scrap of land where you see they're over there, the bastards are over there now fighting for. No, all the desert go be ours. All the land you see that is desolate now, just sand and dust, all of this land will be replenished. The garden is closed. EZER is going to open it for us. He's going to bring water in the desert again. That's what he promised. And he is going to cause us to live there in peace, without walls. He says, and he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deep of the rivers shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. EZER is telling us what he will do with the neighboring countries around us, all those who join up with the heathens to defeat us. He's telling you here, he's going to bring them down. As they are going down right now, look at them. Look at Assyria. Look at Egypt. Look at them. He is doing it as we speak. He said he's going to dry up the rivers so the brothers and sisters in the neighboring lands could cross the Euphrates and walk towards the place that he is bringing us back. Look at the Euphrates. Look at those rivers. See how they are drying up. Look at it, my brothers and sisters. EZER says here in verse 12, I will strengthen them in EZER. He is going to strengthen us in him. He is going to strengthen us in him. And they shall walk up and down in his name. We have to walk up and down in his name, says EZER. We have to walk up and down in his name as he's strengthening us. Chapter 11. Open thy doors, O Lebanon, that the fire may devour thy cedars. Here he's telling them, there is no way they're going to stop their destruction. I am saying, open up your gates. You might as well open it up so the fire could destroy it. Howl, fir tree, for the cedars is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O you oak of Bashan, for the forest of the vintage is come down. Your pride is about to come down. Your cities is about to be destroyed. By what? By fire. He says, open the doors that the fire may devour thy cedars. It's fire on the heathen, my brothers and sisters. It's fire. It's coming for them. The same weapons that they are making, the same weapons that EZER is allowing them to make will destroy themselves. Their missiles, their nuclear weapons. EZER is showing you a straight picture here. Follow me, read. Let us read the word that EZER sent to us through Zechariah. He says in verse 11, verse 2 of verse 11, howl, fir tree, for the cedars is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O ye oaks of Bashan, for the forest of the vintage is come down. There is a voice of the howling of the shepherds, for their glory is spoiled. A voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. He's naming out all the countries around where he will be bringing us back. He's telling you here how he's going to destroy all of them. Thus says EZER, our Redeemer, feed the flock of the slaughter. Feed the flock of the slaughter. They have to be destroyed. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Who has owned us and killed us and always find themselves not guilty. All our neighbors over there, among the neighboring countries over there, nations, and in the nations where we, Judea, are scattered, they all do the same thing to us. I will repeat verse 5. Whose possessors kill them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them, who sold us, say, blessed be I, for I am rich. They praise their mighty one. The name of their slave ship was JC. They had a slave ship named JC, my brothers and sisters. So they praise the mighty one for the riches they get from selling us, from killing us and holding themselves not guilty. Listen what EZER is saying to you. He says, blessed be EZER, for EZER, they praise the mighty one and saying that he has caused them to be rich. How did they get rich? By our oppression, by our death, by our blood, by our sweat, by the wicked things they did to us, by selling us. Look at it right here in your book. He's telling you, look around and see who did those things to you. Who did it over there in the east? Not the Muslims did it to us over there. And who did it to us down here? Not the Christians. My brothers and sisters, open your eyes and see and learn who is your enemies. And Ayah is telling you who he will destroy. It's what we are seeing here today is just the beginning. What we are witnessing is just the beginning. Unfortunately, some of our brothers and sisters have to perish because they refuse to seek Ayah the Redeemer. They refuse to hear his voice. They refuse to go to find him. They refuse to search for his name. They refuse to call on his name. They refuse to keep his commandments. They refuse to hope in his promise. Listen what Ayah is saying to you. For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, says Ayah. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king. So Ayah is saying here, he's going to turn them against one another. He's going to turn our oppressors against one another, and they shall smite the land, and out of their hand will I deliver who? He will deliver us. He will cause them to turn on one another, and then he will deliver us. Look at what they're doing today, my brothers and sisters. Look at how they are behaving. See what Ayah is saying to you. They are dropping down like flies, yet still they want to open up the economy. They are dropping down like flies, yet still the leaders want to open the economy. Why? All they are studying is the riches. All they are studying is the economy. That's why they are not prepared for what's happening today. All their lives was for military, to oppress and to destroy and to conquer. And they had made no provision for what's happening today. So what is happening today caught them unprepared. This is the way of the heathen. My brothers and sisters, these are your enemies. Learn the way of Ayah, your Redeemer. Verse 7. And Ayah will feed the flock of his slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And Ayah take us unto himself 2 stars. He took 2 staves, 2 sticks. One he called beauty, and the other he called bands. And Ayah fed the flock. 3 shepherds also Ayah cut off in 1 month. Ayah's soul despised them, and their soul also abhorred Ayah. Ayah is telling you these 3 shepherds, these 3 kings, Ayah is going to take them out in 1 month, because Ayah hates them and they hate Ayah. So here he's saying, then said I will not feed you that dieth, let it die, and that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. Ayah knows who is losing their lives today. Hear what he just says to you. Who is to die, let them die. Who is to be cut off, let them be cut off. And let the rest eat every one the flesh of another. And let them eat every one the flesh of another. My dear brothers and sisters, the trials and the tribulation is coming. What we are seeing now is the beginning. What we are seeing now is the beginning. He said, I took my staff, even beauty, and cut it asunder, and I might break thy covenant which I had made with all the people. And in it was broken in that day. And so the poor of the flock that wait upon Ayah knew that it was the word of Ayah. Those who will know and study the word of Ayah today are those whom Ayah have allowed to study his word. He says, they are broken in that day. It at that time, in that day means at that time. And so the poor of the flock, the lonely, the humble, the meek, that wait upon EZER, they are the one that will know that the words that they are hearing today is the words of EZER. Humble yourselves, my brothers and sisters, and know that this word that you are hearing today is the word of EZER. You go to verse 12. And I said unto them, if you think good, give me a price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And EZER said unto me, cast it unto the potter. So Zechariah, they don't want to listen to him, but he asked them for a price. They give him 30 pieces of silver. And EZER said unto him, cast it unto the potter, a goodly price that was priced of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of EZER. Then I cut asunder my other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judea and Israel. He broke the brotherhood between us. He sent us one way, and he sent the other tribes another way. And EZER said unto Zechariah, take unto you yet the instrument of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, that will visit those that be cut off. Neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that stands still. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their cloth in pieces. EZER is saying he shall raise up these wicked shepherds. EZER is the one doing it. The ones that are tearing you up in pieces. The one who is lying to you. The ones who are eating your flesh. You know why? You like lies. You like ignorance. You like foolishness. You like stupidity. So EZER is giving you what you like. You like to be lied to. So EZER is giving you what you like. You have the book in your hand in your house. You wouldn't read it. But you have to go to listen to someone who is lying to you, who is giving you something that is not in your book. The Most High gave us the book of remembrance. It's from Genesis to Malachi. Malachi was the last prophet EZER sent unto us. And he told us in the book, you must not add to the words of this book, nor you must take out from the words of this book. He told you what will happen to you if you add to it, and he told you what will happen to you if you take out from it. Now your enemies have gone and add a whole new book and stuck it onto your book, and you are into their book, and you forget the book that EZER gave you. You forget the book he tell you you must not add to, nor take away from. That's the foolishness of Israel. My dear brothers and sisters, the New Testament is not for you. The New Testament wasn't sent to you by EZER, our Redeemer. The New Testament was written by the Romans, the heathens, the very ones who destroyed EZER's temple, the very ones who destroyed you, the very ones who caused you to be in captivity today, the very ones who kill your mother and fathers and your priests and your elders and your prophets. This book was written by them to destroy you. Get out of that false doctrine. Get out of that doctrine that tells you that someone could die for you. My dear brothers and sisters, EZER is your only Savior. He is your only Redeemer. Read the word of EZER. He says, woe to the idle shepherds that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up. His right eye shall be utterly darkened. Here Isaiah is telling you what he will do to these shepherds that are lying to you, these shepherds that are tearing up your flesh, these shepherds that are lying to you. Isaiah is saying to you what he will do to them, how he will destroy them. He gonna dry them up. He gonna remove their strength. If you does not know what he means he is going to remove their strength. He says he's going to darken their eyes. They will not be able to see you. Isaiah does not want them to see you. He said, woe to them. He has put a curse on these shepherds that are lying to you, my brothers and sisters. Get out from among them. Let us go into chapter 12, and it reads, the burden of the word of Isaiah, unto Israel. Isaiah, says Isaiah, that stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundation of the earth. This is who is speaking to you. The one who did those things. He's the one speaking to you. He said, he formed the spirit of man within him. He's telling you he is the one that put his spirit in you. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judea and against Jerusalem. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all the people, and all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. Though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Here Isaiah is telling you, all the other nations, all the other people of the earth will come against you. He is telling you, all the people of the earth will come against you, Israel. All the other nations will come against you. In that day, says Isaiah, I will smite every horse with astonishment. Here he is telling you what he will do when they come against you in this day. He said he's going to smite all the horses. He is telling you it's your enemies that ride horses. Not we ride horses. Oh, Israel does not ride horses. They ride asses. The heathen nations ride horses. He's telling you in that day, says Isaiah, he will smite every horse with astonishment and his rider with madness. That's what he's going to do to them. And Isaiah will open his eyes upon the house of Judea. Isaiah is going to come to us and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. All the people who is coming against us, Isaiah is going to destroy their weapons. All the weapons that they are putting up against us, when we turn to Isaiah and call on his name and keep his and do his commandments, practice that law that we have to keep in that nation that he has given us when he brings us back into the land to make us a nation again. Right now, my brothers and sisters, we are a scattered people. We do not have a land, so we are not a nation. Isaiah is promising us to bring us back as a nation. But we have to know the laws that will have to govern the nation. We have to practice the laws now. We have to practice it among the heathen. He says, and the governors of Judea shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be our strength in Isaiah of hosts, their Redeemer. Our strength will come from Isaiah, and we will be Isaiah's strength to be used. Isaiah will use us to destroy the heathen. In that day, which means in that time, Isaiah will make the governors of Judea like an hearth of fire among the wood. Isaiah is saying here he going to make us like fire among the wood. Who is the wood? The wood is the nations, and we are the fire. We are going to burn them up. And like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and they shall devour all the people round about. We have to destroy all our enemies and take possession of the land so that we could care the land as EZER has given us to care. As he has given the assignment to Adam to take care of the earth, the first human, so too EZER is preparing us to take his land back. Why? The heathen, the strangers has come among us and have destroyed his land. They are destroying the air. They are destroying the water. They are destroying the animals. They are destroying the plants. They are destroying the seeds. The seeds of man and the seeds of the fruit and the seeds of the plants. They are destroying everything. They are the destroyers of the earth. My dear brothers and sisters, listen to what EZER is saying to you. He says, the people round about, on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in our own place, even Jerusalem. The land is not strange. He's not giving us a different land. He's telling you here, we have to destroy them on our left hand and our right hand. And what? We have to go back and inhabit the very land he gave to Adam, the very land he promised to Abraham, the very land he gave unto Isaac and unto Jacob, the very land he set up as a nation for us under the EZER-IAH and Judea. Verse 7, EZER also shall save the tents of Judea first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judea. EZER is telling us here, he will raise us up first. EZER is saying to us, he is going to raise us up first. We are the lawgivers. We are from the house of David. We Judeans, we are from the house of David. We are the tribe of Judea. We are the ones that are scattered to the four corners of the earth. EZER is saying he is going to raise us up first. We have to raise our brothers up over there in Africa and in the East. We have to raise them up, my brothers and sisters. We have to raise them up. EZER is saying to us, in that day shall EZER defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them in that day shall be as David. Even those that are feeble, the very old ones, will become strong like David were. We are the children of David. David is the one he promised that his seed shall live forever. And we are from the house of David. We are the tribe of Judea. We are the children of David. My dear brothers and sisters, listen to the voice in the wilderness of the people. He says, he's going to raise us up first so the other inhabitants will not magnify themselves against us, because we are coming from far. If he raised them up first and they go back into the land, when we get there, maybe they doesn't want us there. They will discriminate against us. We don't know. EZER is working this. So EZER is saying he is raising us up first. That's what he's saying to you. Forget about this 10 tribes chat, this foolishness. Like if EZER did not send all of EZER-IAH and Judea to the four corners of the earth, my brothers and sisters. EZER-IAH is still in Africa and in the countries surrounding them. We are the ones who was driven to the four corners of the earth, the tribe of Judea. And EZER is saying when he gathers us, he bringing us back as one nation. No two tribes, no two nations no more. No north and south. It will be one nation. And we will go under the name EZER-IAH as one nation. In the land of Moriah, under the mountain, EZER mountain, Mount Moriah. That's where we're going back. Just like when he took us out of Egypt and he gave Shemaiah a token, Moses, and he said, when you take them out of the land of Egypt, bring them to this mountain. Bring them to this place so they may hear my voice. This is where Ayah is bringing us back. He's bringing us back there to hear his voice. He will enforce his law unto us again. By then, my brothers and sisters, those that are going back there will know the law. Because Ayah says it's a remnant. He will take one from a city or two from a family. Ayah is not doing what he did with us when he took us from Egypt and brought all of us back. When he took us from Babylon, bring everybody back. And when they went there, what? They disobeyed him again and again and again. They keep doing all the things he tells them they must not do. This time I said, a remnant from a remnant. Listen to this. Those who serve him what? With their whole heart, their whole soul, and with all their strength. Those who allow Ayah to rule their lives. Those who allow Ayah to put his commandments in their heart, in their intellect, and allow the commandments to direct their lives today. These are the ones Ayah is bringing back. Listen to the word that he gave the prophets to bring to us. He says, in that day shall Ayah defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that time shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Ayah. Listen what he's telling you. And the house of David shall be as Ayah's house. That's why David's son built a house unto Ayah. That's why David had the idea to build a house unto Ayah. That's why Ayah had a covenant with him. And Ayah said he will never lie to him. And he will never break that covenant he had with him. That's why he said his throne will be before Ayah as the moon and the sun before him. That's why he says he will put his hand in the river and one in the sea. And whatever he asks of Ayah, Ayah will give unto him. He is our shepherd that Ayah promised to bring unto us. Listen to the word of Ayah, my dear brothers and sisters. As the angel of Ayah before them. So here he's telling us, David shall be as Ayah, the house of David shall be as Ayah, as the angel of Ayah before all of us. We have to go to that house. Then we're going to know the things that Ayah withheld from us. He will reveal it to us. Certain things that he has not revealed to us this day. We have to hope in what he revealed to us. Hear this, my brothers and my sisters. Listen to what Ayah is saying to you. And it shall come to pass in that time, the day. Every day you see the word in that day, which means in that time, that Ayah will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. Hear what Ayah is telling you. He says, in that time, Ayah will destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. You Christians, you like to talk about everybody is Ayah's children. About the God is everybody's God, and everybody's God children. Go to your pagan school with this. Go to your shrine with this. Ayah is not telling you this. Ayah is a special. Ayah is almighty. He is the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is the one who made the heavens and the earth, the moon and the stars. He is the one who made us in his image and in his likeness. He is the one who gave us his name. He is the one who gave us his commandments. He is the one who gave us his promises. He gave it to the house of Israel, not to all the nations. Here he is telling you, he will destroy all the nations that come against us. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication. Here he's telling you, you belongs to the house of David. Here he's telling you again, David will be a shepherd. We're going back to the house of David, and there he will give us what he have for us. He says, and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, he is going to do what? He is going to give us the spirit of grace and of supplication, the same spirit that he gave unto David when he was anointed and came upon him from that day on. So he's going to give us the spirit of grace and of supplication, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one that mourned for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, they has given you this scripture, and they tell you this is Jesse. Well, let us go and see who it is that is speaking right here. Let us see. He just told us he's going to bring us in the house of David. He just told us he's going to give us the spirit and the grace and the supplication, and we will look upon him that is pierced. So we're going into David's house. So let us go and see who was pierced. Let us see why it is David that the Most High is telling us it is in David's house. In David's house he's going to bring us, and we are going to look on who? Upon David. We're not going in David's house to look on Jesse. Let Jesse go and find his own house. Isaiah says he's going to bring us into the house of David, and there we go look upon David. Let us see what David says about him being pierced. Let us go to Psalms 22, my dear brothers and sisters. Psalm 22. Psalm 22. Let us read Psalm 22. I will read the whole Psalm. And listen to this Psalm. This Psalm was written by David. This Psalm is a Psalm of David. And remember, David wrote 72 Psalms. This is one of David's Psalms. Hear what he says. He says, my Redeemer, why have you forsaken me? Why is David saying that? David was in a battle. David was surrounded by his enemies. David was a man, so he thought at that time there, he's calling on Isaiah not to forsake him. Why art thou so far from helping me from the words of my roaring? He is calling on Isaiah for help, and the enemy is surrounding him. He says in verse 2, O my Redeemer, I cry in the daytime. You heard us not, because the enemies is still coming. And in the night season, and I'm not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabits the praises of Israel. He said, you, Isaiah, are the only holy one. You are the one who received the praise from Israel. In verse 4 he says, our fathers trusted in you. They trusted, and you delivered them. Here David is telling you, our fathers trusted in Isaiah, and Isaiah delivered them. They cried unto you, and they was delivered. They trusted in you and was not confounded. They was not put to shame. He says, I am like a worm, which means he's just one. He's one little man. And no man a reproach of men. He is like a reproach of men. All his enemies reproach him. Until this day, all the brothers and sisters who are praying to Yeshua, all those who are teaching Yeshua and Jesse, they are reproaching David. They are not recognizing him and giving him the recognition. They are reproaching him until this day. He says, they despise, he is despised of the people. Up to today, our brothers and sisters does not recognize the Messiah that IAH promised to give unto us to be our shepherd. So he is still being despised among his people. All they that see me laugh to my scorn. They scorn him. They laugh at him until today. And he says to IAH, shoot out the lip. They shake their head. They stretch out their mouth when they see him, when they hear about David. They shake their head. They're still doing it until today. Saying, they were saying to him, you trust in IAH? You said that he will deliver you? Let him deliver you. See the light in him. So which they're mocking him. The enemies was mocking him. They had him at a low point. They had surrounded him. They had captured him. And he was praying for deliverance from IAH. And now he's telling you, he told you what he said, and he's telling you what the people are saying that was around him. And then he's going to tell you what they did. He said, but thou art he that took me out of the womb. He go back praying to the Most High. When they said, when they was telling him, you trust in the Most High, you trust in IAH, let IAH deliver you. He was praying. He continued to pray. He said, you have took me out of the womb. You make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. Just like he did the nation when he took us out of the land of Egypt. He brought us to the land flowing with milk. My brothers and sisters, in verse 10, he says, I was cast upon thee from the womb. You art my redeemer from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help me. Here David is telling you, none to help him. He had a whole army, and he does not rely on his army. He relies on IAH, our Redeemer, his Redeemer. Verse 12, he said, many bulls have compassed me. He was calling the nation bulls, as IAH called them animals. He was calling them bulls. Strong bulls of Bashan. He was fighting against a king. He was a giant. He was a king from Bashan, the king of Og. He said, he have beset me around, which means they surround him. They have captured him. He said, they gap upon me with their mouth. They was laughing at him and saying all sort of things to him. As a raving, as a revenging, and a roaring lion. They was watching him and mocking him and threatening him. He said, I am poured out like water. He get weak. He said he is poured out like water. He is weak. He is dissolved. All my bones are out of joint. They brutalized him. He said his heart is like wax. He have no strength in his body. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. He feel weakness in his stomach like we do when we are in serious trouble or in pain. We feel weak. He was expressing his feelings. He says, my strength is dried up like a potsherd, like a dry tree. My tongue cleaved to my jaws. He said he can't speak no more. He just praying to the Most High. He can't speak no more. Thou hast brought me into the dust of death. He said, right now I'm about to die. For dogs have compassed me. He called them here now, he called them bulls over there. Here he's calling them dogs. These are the nations, my brothers and sisters. The assembly of the wicked. So we know it was his enemies. He called them dogs. He called them bulls. Like he called them in Enoch. The wicked have enclosed me. He's telling you, he's talking to the Most High. His enemies have suckled him. And hear what he says. They pierce my hands and my feet. Listen what David is telling you. They pierce my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They conquered him in war. They part my garments among themselves and cast lots upon my vesture. And then they're going to give you reference to John and Luke. Is John and Luke speaking here? Is Jesse speaking here? Who is speaking here? David is stating his experience. David is telling you here what is happening to him. Let me read it again. For the dogs have compassed me. David, he's talking about himself. He didn't call him no Jesse. He didn't talk about no Yeshua. He says, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me, David. They pierced my hands and my feet, David's feet, David's hand. He may tell all his bones, David. They look and stare upon me. They look and stare upon David. They part my garments among themselves. Whose garment? David's garment. And they cast lots upon his garments, his vesture, his shield, his armor. And he says in 19, be not thou far from me, O Aya, my strength. Hasten thee to help me. Come and help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling, from the power of the dogs. Save me from the lion's mouth. Here he calling them lion. For thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorn. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. Here, David is making promises now to Aya. He said, I will declare your name. What he will declare? Aya's name. I will declare your name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation, I will praise you. You that fear Aya, praise him. All you, the seed of Jacob. Here he is telling you who he's speaking to. You, the seeds of Jacob, glorify Aya. Fear Aya, love Aya. All you, the seeds of Israel, Aya. For he has not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither has he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. David said, when I cried unto him, he heard me. So David is telling you here what you have to do. My praise shall be of Aya in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that love him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise Aya. They shall seek him. Who him? Aya. David's not playing Jesse here with you. That's not Jesse. David is talking about himself. Show me a psalm that Jesse wrote. They want to tell you this is Jesse. Show me a psalm that Jesse wrote. Show me a psalm that Yeshua wrote. Show me. You showing me something that somebody write about himself and telling me that means somebody else. Am I that ignorant? Am I that foolish? Is Israel that ignorant? Is Judah that ignorant and foolish to accept your false doctrine? You heathens. He says here, I seek him, your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto who? Unto Aya. All the kindreds of the nations shall worship before who? Aya. For the kingdom is Aya's, and he is the governor among the nation. All they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before IAH, and none can keep alive his own soul. None can keep alive his own soul. So if none can keep alive their own soul, how could a man save yours? How could a man save yours? David is telling you here the truth. No man can save the soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to IAH for a generation. Here David is telling you, a generation from him shall come and serve IAH. He says, listen to it. They shall come a seed. Whose seed? A seed from David shall come and serve IAH. It shall be accounted to IAH for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that not yet born, that he has done this. Here David is telling you, a seed, a generation shall come and speak the word of IAH, a generation that is not yet born. My dear people, listen to IAH's word. Listen to it. And don't let no one fool you. Let no one fool you. In this book, in the book that IAH gave us and tell us we must remember, we must know, IAH was speaking of David. I just showed you where David spoke. And that's why it says in verse 10, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the spirit of grace and of supplication, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. Who they will look upon? When they go into the house of David, they will look upon David, because David is the one he promised he will raise up unto us. We're going to see him one day. We will see him one day. Those of us whom IAH have chosen, we will see him before us. We will look upon him. That's what he is saying to us. That's now not Jesse. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadaram, the valley of Medagon. And the land shall mourn every family apart. The family of the house of David apart. Here he is explaining to us now. He's going down into some more detail to tell us. He said, the house of David apart. That's Judea. Judea will be apart. And their wives apart. He is counting us. He's putting us apart. He wants to know who is David, who is not David. He said, and the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart. Just like when Nehemiah and them went back into the land, they had to search through to know who is Levi, who is this, who is that. IAH is telling you how he is going to do it in that day. And the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart. And the family of Shemi apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. So he is not just, IAH is not just looking on us as the men. He's looking on our wives too. Who did you marry? Who did you go to? He told us we are not to go to the heathen. We are not to give the heathen our sons. We are not to give the heathen our daughters. We are not to take the sons of the heathen for our sons. We are not to take the daughters, the sons of the heathen for our daughters. He told us that clearly. So here he's telling you how he's searching us out. He's looking at the fathers, he's looking at the men, he's looking at their wives. Remember what they had to do in that day. In that time, that's verse chapter 13. And in that time there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Where the fountain will be open? the fountain will be opened to the house of David, to Judea. That's the fountain will be open to Judea and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanliness. Why is that fountain opening up? Ayah is going to wash us. Ayah is going to clean us up. And it shall come to pass in that time, says Ayah of hosts, that I will cut off the names of what? The names of the idols out of the land. Ayah is going to take the names of idols out from us, and it will be out of the land. Because if it is in us and we go in the land, it will be in the land. So what Ayah is saying, is going to take the names of idols out of our mouth. So when we get into that land, it will not be mentioned in his land, the land Moriah, Ayah's land. And they shall no more be remembered. Ayah is saying he's going to take those names out of our mouth. Which are the names? The Yahweh, the Jehovah, the JC, the Lord, the God. All these names, the names of blasphemy, these names that derive from the Tetragrammaton and from Babylon and from Egypt. Ayah is going to take them out of our mouth, and they shall not no more be remembered. We will not be saying those names anymore. Why? We all will be calling on Ayah. We all will know his name. And he says, and also, Ayah will cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to pass out of the land. These unclean spirits that they've been putting on us, Ayah is going to clean it up. He's going to get them out of us. When we call on his name, he's going to get it out of us. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begot him shall say unto him, You shall not live, for you speak lies in the name of our Redeemer. And his father and his mother that begot him shall trust him through when he prophesy. The time is coming. We see Ayah is exposing these false prophets to us so much. He is exposing these false prophets to us left, right, and center. And yet still, our people are still being fooled. But Ayah is saying here, it's coming when the very mother and father will kill them for lying. Here Ayah is telling you, the very mother and father will pierce them through for lying, for teaching lies. He says, For, and it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision. You know, all now they're always telling you in the church, when you go in the church, half of the sermon is about the Most High tell them something, and they say something, and the Most High direct them to do something. And they always see something, and he always show them something. Here Ayah is telling you, they will be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he has prophesied. Neither shall they wear a garment to deceive. They like to dress up with all these colorful, big old colorful garments to lie to you and fool you. Here I am saying, even this, they wouldn't be able to wear it no more. Their parents go be killing them. Their friends go be killing them. And they wouldn't even be able to wear those clothes to lie to you no more. Verse 5. But he shall say, I am no prophet. He go deny he is a prophet. See, the Pope has now denied that he is Christ's vicar. He denied, he have taken that title off of him. That's the beginning, my brothers and sisters. The simple prophets around you, they're going to deny that they are prophets. All of them going to go and buy land and grow cattle and sheep. They will lie. They will stop lying to you. Ayah is doing this. He says, they shall say, they are no prophet, they are husbandsmen. For man taught them to keep cattle from their youth. They're going to call themselves husbands. They're going to call themselves herdsmen. And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thy hand? What they going to say? What are these marks on you? And then he going to say, then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Because their friends going to beat them. Their friends go cut them up. Their friends go stab them. Their friends go do them. They go run. So when they come and talk and you see them, they ask, why you have that mark on you? Oh, this is what happened to me in the hands of my friends. Like some of the priests today that was in Liberia who fought war. All of their face have all these cut marks and stab wounds on them. But they are priests. Pay money to the Catholic Church and send them as priests in the Caribbean and around the world. EZER-IAH is exposing all of them. Pedophiles and molesters. EZER-IAH is exposing them, my brothers and sisters. In verse 4, in verse 7, he says, awake, O sword, against the shepherds. They call themselves EZER shepherd. Here EZER is calling a sword unto them. He's waking up a sword. How is he waking up the sword? He is waking up their mother and their fathers. He is waking up their friends. He is waking up the people that is in their churches that will turn against them. And against the man that is my fellow, says EZER of hosts, smite the shepherd. You hear that? Smite them. And the shepherd shall be scattered, and the sheep shall be scattered. EZER does not want you among these people. They're lying to you. Here EZER is saying, kill them, kill the shepherds, and the sheep shall be scattered. You go be away from them, so you might find the truth, and you will go to EZER. You will turn back to your Redeemer. And I will turn my hand upon the little ones. You see, when the shepherd no longer to deceive you, EZER will stretch his hand to you. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says EZER, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. Here EZER is telling you, in all the lands where you are scattered, 2 parts of the land shall die. They shall die. Our brothers and sisters will die as well. Our brothers and sisters will die because of their disobedience. But the third shall be left therein. You see, it's a remnant that will be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire. EZER is going to test us. EZER is still going to test. The 1/3 is dead. The other third, EZER is going to test us through the fire. He's going to put us through like what's going on here today. EZER is going to test us. Who are you going to call on? Who are you going to seek to help you? Who are you going to seek? Don't you realize I'm still giving you air to breathe and water to drink and food to eat and clothes to wear? Why not turn to me? Why are you still going to Jesse? Why are you still going to the idols? Why are you still doing this? But EZER is saying here, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. My brothers and sisters, that's not no simple trial. When he says, I will try you like and refine you like silver, silver had to go through fire. When he says, I will try them as gold is tried, gold go through fire. They shall call on my name. This is what you have to do, my brothers and sisters. He's telling you, he's going to clean you up. And when he clean you up, you're going to call on his name. And I will hear them. He said he will hear you. And I will say, it is my people. When he hear you, he go visit you because he going to say they're calling on me. As we did in the land of Egypt. As he did in the land of Egypt. When we cried out, he came. And they shall say, you are my Redeemer. You are my Redeemer. Behold, chapter 14, and this is the last chapter I will read with you. It says, because that's the last chapter, it says, behold, the day of EZER come, and their spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. EZER will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the house rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. That was like Jeremiah and the old prophets, those Jeremiah and the few people who remained. He's talking about there. he was telling them this. But hear what he is going to say to you. Hear what he is going to say. Then shall EZER go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, towards the east and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north. My dear brothers and sisters, that's coming. And half of it towards the south. And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountain shall reach unto Azal. Yea, you shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judea. And EZER, my Redeemer, shall come, and all his righteous ones with him. And it shall come to pass in that day, at that time, that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day that shall be known to EZER, nor day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light, and it shall be in that day that living water shall go out forth from Jerusalem, half of them towards the former sea, and half of them towards the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. So here I is promising us and telling us that earthquake, that great earthquake that will take place and divide that land. It has not happened yet, my brothers and sisters. And EZER shall be king over all the earth in that time. There be one EZER and his name, one Redeemer, and his name will be one. EZER is telling you here, when this destruction come on the earth, when the sword is come upon the earth, and the remnant of those whom he choose, they will know that he is one Redeemer, and his name will be one name. He wouldn't have no name, G-O-D, L-O-R-D, Jehovah, Yahweh, and all these names. He wouldn't have all these names. That's why he told us earlier, he going to remove those names from our mouth. Here he's telling us after he do this thing on the earth, he will be known as one Redeemer because he is one. Our Redeemer is one. You don't have no son with him. You don't have nobody before him or after him. He said he is the first, he is the last, and besides him there is no Savior. So here he is explaining to us again. He says, in that time, EZER will be king over all the earth. Why? Why? Because he go destroy all these idols and Babel and all these Elohims that they talk about. He go destroy them. And he alone will be in rule. That's what he's saying. He will be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Redeemer. And his name will be one name. One EZER and EZER as EZER and EZER alone. That is what EZER is saying to you right here, my brother and my sisters. He says in 10, all the land shall be turned as a plain from Gibeah to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem. All these lands that's south of Jerusalem, all these mountains, these sand piles and all this mountain, everything will be flat. And it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place. EZER is going to bring us back into those places to build. He's going to build it up. All the desert. All this desert land they have down there. EZER is going to build it up. From Benjamin's gate unto the palace of the first gate, unto the corner gate. From the tower of Haniel unto the king wine presses. And men shall dwell in it. And there shall be no more utter destruction. No more destruction. But Jerusalem shall be safe and inhabited. Inhabited by who? By the children of Israel and Judea. We're going back as one nation. We'll be known as Israel. And this shall be the plague wherewith EZER shall smite all the people that have that have fought against Jerusalem. Now, Isaiah is going to tell you the final plague that he is going to put on all the nations that come that have destroyed us, all the nations that have oppressed us, all the nations that fought against Jerusalem, all the nations that have destroyed his temple and have destroyed his land and have destroyed his people and have caused his people to forget his name and his commandments. Hear what Isaiah is saying to them. Listen to this, my brothers and sisters, because the coronavirus is just the tip of the iceberg. Hear what he says. All them that fought against Jerusalem, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. So while they're standing on their feet, their flesh will be falling off their bodies. While men will be standing on their feet, their flesh will be falling off their bodies. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. So while they're standing up looking at you, you're going to see their eyes, the eyeball fall out, the holes. And their tongue, while they're speaking to you, their tongue shall be rotten out, shall be consumed away in their mouth. This is what Isaiah is telling you coming. This is what's coming for the nations. This is what coming for Isaiah's enemies. This is what coming for those who destroy the temple. This is what's coming for those who destroy Isaiah's people. This is what's coming for those who have caused his people to go astray and worship wood and stone. This is what's coming for the nation who continue to destroy his people. This is what's coming for the false doctrines that they have taught, those who have taught the false doctrines. My dear brothers and sisters, those who have oppressed you, those who have destroyed you, this is what's coming for them. Let me read it one more time. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day, at that time, that a great tumult from ire shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Ire is going to put them in confusion. Ire is going to have them to kill one another. Right now, they are still killing us. It's coming, my brothers and sisters. Listen what I is saying here to you. And Judea shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together. Gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. We will be back. Aya will be bringing us back into his land. How are we going back in his land? We're going there with all the wealth of the heathens. Their gold, their silver, their clothes, and in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the house, of the horse, and of the mule, and of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. Here Isaiah is telling us about a plague that will come. That plague will destroy their horses, their mule, their camel, their asses, their beasts. All of them will be plagued. But my dear brothers and sisters, let us continue. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations that came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Aya of hosts, and to keep the feast of the tabernacles. Here he is telling you, those people who remain of these nations, those that are not killed, They will have to come to Jerusalem. They will have to come where? To Moriah, Ai land. They will have to come to Mount Moriah under Ai's mountain. Just like we had to do when we came from Egypt. And we will have to do when we go back. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up at all the families of the earth. Anybody who does not come, any nation that does not come up to that land to praise Ai, to worship before Ai, our Redeemer of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, even upon them shall be no rain. So another plague. There will be no rain for any nation that refuse their people to come to Jerusalem, to Moriah, to pray to Ai under Mount Moriah. There will be no rain in the land. And when there is no rain, you know what happens. There is death from hunger, famine, and pestilence follows. And if the families of Egypt do not go up, if they come not, they will have no rain. So even Egypt, where we walked to before, even Egypt that is close by, even them will have no rain. There shall be the plague, wherewith Ai shall smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of the tabernacles. These shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that do not come up to the feast of tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto Ai, and the pots in Ai's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. There are going to be many pots in Jerusalem, big pots. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judea shall be holiness unto Ai of hosts. On all day that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and sit therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of Ai of hosts. Now he is telling us all the pots of Jerusalem will be used. Very big pots. Because everybody who is coming to Jerusalem will have to cook and eat. But in that time there will be no Canaanites, no children of Cain. The seeds of Cain will not be there. Ai is telling us that the seeds of Cain will not be in the house of Ai. The seeds of Cain will not be in the house of Ai. It will not be in the house of Ai. So see the plagues. He says there will be no rain. He told us the plagues, their flesh will be falling off their skin. Their eyes be rotting out the socket. Their tongue rotting in their mouth. My dear brothers and sisters, do you know what causes this? It's a fire. Do you know what fire that causes this? Nuclear fire. Nuclear radiation. This is how the heathens will fight against one another. They will use nuclear weapons against one another. And that is what will cause their flesh to fall off their body while they're still standing. That is the radiation that will cause their eyes to fall out the sockets and their tongue to rotten in their mouth. This is what will cause no rain on the land. This is what will cause the plagues to the horses. This is what will destroy the armaments, the warplanes, and the horses. and the tanks, that is the horses and the mules and the camels and the asses. That's the beast, the ammunitions, the warships, the tankers, the submarines. All will be contaminated. All will be contaminated and destroyed. When Zechariah was writing this book, he didn't have no plane in existence. So he called it horses. He didn't have no tanks. They call them dragons spitting fire. These are what they're talking about, my dear brothers and sisters. This is what they're talking about. And in those days, in 20, in that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses. What's the bells of the horses? Everything that moving towards Jerusalem go have the name of IAH written on it. Everything that's moving towards Jerusalem, our people who are coming back, everyone, they will call the name of IAH. Remember, they will raise up as an ensign the name of IAH. IAH, the name of IAH will be their flag. They will carry their flag with the name of IAH on it. Praise be to IAH. All praise be to IAH. All praise be to IAH. May IAH keep you and bless you. May IAH direct your ways. May you use the laws of IAH. Ask him to put it in your heart. And use the law of IAH to direct your ways. Praise IAH. Praise IAH. Praise IAH. IAH is great. IAH is great. IAH is worthy to be praised. IAH's name is above all names and is worthy to be praised. Study this, what I read to you, my brothers and sisters. I would like you all to read it. Take your time as usual and read it and see what IAH is saying to you. IAH magnifies his words to each and every one of us. There are things that he will show me, and there is things he will show you. I pray that IAH will enlighten you in his word. Praise be to IAH. Praise be to IAH. All praise be to IAH.